All right, all right. Welcome to the weekly real estate talk show with Raul Luna. Hey, congratulations to everybody who's here connected with us. As you can tell, I'm at a lobby here on our hotel where we actually do our monthly meetups. This is my virtual office here today, and it's exciting, ladies and gentlemen, because through this, the whole point of this real estate talk show is for you to learn. Obviously, we're going to share stories, we're going to share case studies, we're going to share obviously what's happening. You know what I love is I love that we can empower, connect, and help you achieve great results in life. But I love that it comes from experience. It doesn't come from, a textbook. It doesn't come from theory. It doesn't come to, I hope it works. It's stuff that we put into practice, and that's why the results are happening, right? So, for the ones that don't know me, just very briefly, I started real estate about almost 2 decades ago. And I know that while maybe many people think that I was already born a success, or there was already a silver platter given to me or things like that, it was not, nothing near or nothing close to whatever, you may be thinking. And the reason why I share it is because I want you to understand that even though I was born in America, I was raised in Mexico and came back. And I started just like anybody else. I started doing very hard work. I started basically just, like anybody else would, that comes from a humble family. And that's how we did it. I remember, not being able to see my father because by the time I would go to school, he was already gone to work. And by the time he would come from work, I was already asleep. So can you imagine that? The only way I managed myself to see him was by asking him if I could go and help him at work. And he actually told his boss if I could do that. They allowed him. That's how my work career started. That's how I started working. I started working because I wanted to be close to my father, and then it became a habit. I started obviously, it was recycling cans, and then throwing, door hangers in people's homes, and then, dishwasher, salad maker, pizza maker, and you name it. It's until I, started real estate. And even when I started real estate, it was funny because many people thought that I wasn't going to make it. Especially the same people in your surroundings. They always tell you, well, you know what, the doors will always remain open for whenever you need to come back. And it's a signal of, I don't think you're going to make it, but, so we're here to help you. And some people, they just wish you the best, right? And here we are, almost 2 decades later. We built an empire, we lost the empire, and we're in phase two of our careers. We're in that phase two. It's what I called, ripping ripping the true benefits from all the freaking failures on phase one. So that's in a nutshell the story behind it. Wanted to share with you so that you understand that if a farm boy from a farm town, is doing real estate business, is that you could do it as well. Okay. That you could actually succeed as well. Just don't let your limiting beliefs get in the way and distract you, because they are distractors. They will come, to you, and you will experience them. So just don't let that distract you, okay? Because you're bigger than your distractions. You're bigger than your failures. We all are. It's really a matter on how is it that we're programmed from here. And having that said, I want to introduce you to no other than Mr. Alberto Bravo. Many of you guys already know who this gentleman is. I've seen his growth. I've watched him, go through his pains, through his struggles, through his challenges, through his victories. And for the people that don't know him, he's a father of two wonderful kids, a husband, and works full time for Bimbo. And if you don't know who Bimbo is Bimbo, it's a bread company, or I should say more of a bread snack Mexican company. It's the type of the type of snack that we shouldn't be eating, really, because it's not super healthy. But Anyways, um, and he's laughing about it because and he works full time. Okay, he works full time, starts at 4 in the morning, finishes when he has to finish, like what, 3 4 p.m. There's really no I guess time of finishing, but he has to be he has been able to manage and made it work, ladies and gentlemen. I've seen how he went through the academy, different webinars, courses, masterminds, and yet in the past, what, less than 3 weeks, two triplexes under contract. The latest one is the one that we're going to be talking to you right now. As a matter of fact, I'm going to share my screen. On the screen that I'm going to share, bear with me, I'm going to share obviously this one. And we're going to be wholesaling it. So he's going to be wholesaling it, I should say. So just in case you know of somebody, this is the time, okay? So anyways, just wanted to start with that. So welcome on board, Mr. Alberto Bravo. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yes, I can. Hi, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Luna, for inviting me here at this webinar.
My
And
pleasure. I am
thank you.
very excited to have you here today, as I know that many people are going to be able to benefit because, hey, second triplex in less than 3 weeks with a very different, obviously, marketing channel. We want to hear about it. Take us through the way. I mean, tell us a little bit about basically how you found the deal, how you identified it, the numbers. I mean, give us a tour so that people that are, obviously hearing this great content can use it right away for them to put it into acceleration mode.
Well, first of all, I want to tell you guys that I found this property on my direct mail that I send every week. And
I think we're losing you, Mr. Alberto. Can you?
this is the second time
I'm gonna make a.
the owner calls.
I'm gonna make a sound test. Can you guys hear Mr. Alberto? If you guys can hear him, please put number one. Just put number one just to make sure we can hear him. Okay, let's see.
Oh, okay. Can you guys hear me now?
Now we can.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was telling you guys that I got this deal through a direct mail, and this is actually the second time that the owner calls me for this particular property. The first time he called me up, I lost his contact. I called him up, but I never got a chance to go and take a look at this property until now that he called me for second time, and I decided to actually save the number, save everything, and I took action and went to see this property right away.
Let me get this right, Mr. Alberto. You're saying that the first time he called you, you lost his contact info, and basically the only way around it was because he got a second letter and he called you back?
That's right. Yeah, that is correct.
Ay, ay, ay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, continue.
Well, anyways, he's
Mr. Alberto, I don't know in which location you are, but we're losing you. Um, I don't know if you can be in a location where there's a great connection. Mr. Alberto, hello? Mr. Alberto, we're losing you. Hold on, let me, Mr. Alberto, we're losing you. Can you guys hear him? If you guys can hear him, put number one. If you can hear Mr. Alberto, not me. If you can hear him, no, okay. Mr. Alberto, we're losing you. we're completely losing you. I don't know where you are. I don't know if you're in Mars or if you're in Jupiter, or, but we're losing you really, really bad. Can you guys, can, can you, can you hear me, Mr. Alberto? Hello? Hello, hello. Well, ladies and gentlemen, while he gets connected, let me go ahead and I will share, obviously, I will, once he gets connected, he'll come back. But, I think he got disconnected and he's going to have to reconnect. But anyhow, this is the one, just so that you know, the property that I have here, okay? And it's 1830 C Street in Sparks, Nevada. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and show you. So one of the things that I do is, obviously I get to see the location a little bit on where is it located in connection to Reno, in connection. See, the other triplex that he got, the other triplex is actually in Reno. This one, it's in Sparks. And it is very interesting because if you notice, it's very close to Highway 80 and also 395, but it seems like it's close to the freeway right there. Sparks it's a growing city. Reno, it's a growing city. The county is massively growing, so it is a very hot real estate market. And just to back that up, look, I'm gonna go, like, for instance, Sparks, Sparks, Nevada population, just so you can basically see. Look what's happening with Sparks. Basically growing since 1990. This thing has been just completely growing. Now let's check, for instance, the county. Let's just check the county. Washoe population, it's the same thing. Reno. So every city, or I should say not every city, but everything around the Reno area, it's having an explosion because there's companies moving there. Like Tesla recently built a big, massive warehouse out there. So, where companies grow, where companies go, where job goes, obviously, guess what's happening? They're going to need people. People move. When people move, they need housing. When they need housing, they need restaurants. When they need restaurants, they're going to need schools. They're going to need a lot of things. So just so that you know what's happening there, and why is it that I personally like Reno, because of what I just showed you there. Now, when I'm going to evaluate a property, usually what I like to do is I basically like to see the map of where the property is in relation to everything else, you see. So in this case, it's close to pretty much, freeways. It's close to many different places, and I like that. Okay, so I'm going to show you, obviously, the building. The building, it's going to need its help. It's 3 units. All 3 units are 2 bedroom, 1 bath. One is on 2 on the bottom, 1 on the top, and basically I'm going to give you. Oops, I was going to give you a top view, so you should be seeing it here with me on the screen. I'm sorry, bear with me here. And as you can see, this is the property right here. If you can see, that's the garage. Here is the triplex, and basically it's located. There's like a little shopping center here where there's obviously all different types of businesses and so on and so forth. But I showed you what basically we do, right? So anyways, what we decided to do, because we couldn't get clear comps, we had to go through a local real estate agent. And all of this, by the way, just so that you know, Mr. Alberto has been doing it, okay? So it's not like I do it. He heard it obviously on the webinars. He heard it on the different courses that he has taken with us. And it's interesting because he got me this report. This is a report, obviously, that a local real estate agent gave him. And I want you to pay attention to this because I'm going to show you here. Okay, I'm going to go back and I'm going to copy paste this address, and then we're going to go to, let's just say Redfin, and I'm using all this so that you know that, you know, if you're a real estate agent, hey, you should have more access to data than we as real estate investors do, right? Well, guess what? 6 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, measures 1,766 square feet, you know, and at least we got that, right? Well, there's not absolute clarity when you go to the comps here. Like, yeah, you can get it. Like maybe this gives you like, okay, this one is 350, but doesn't tell you if it's active or you, well, it does right here now when you go one by one, but it doesn't tell you like if it's active or sold unless you start digging deeper. But let me see if my internet it's any better here. So unless you start, you know, see it says nearby similar homes, right? Now when we're dealing with multifamily, it's gonna take a little bit longer. But look, a little bit longer. So there's no great comps. If you notice that, that's it. That's the only thing that we got. We got this one that says 340 and it says 4 bedrooms, 3 bath. I don't know if it's a house. I don't know if it's a triplex. I don't know. But through going through the actual description, doesn't even have a description. So guess what? That's why we decided that, you know, he decided that he needed it to get this thing. So this is provided by a real estate agent locally in the neighborhood. And guess what? Based on what the agent provided, okay, give me a second. I think Mr. Alberto is back. Hopefully he's back with, in a second. I'm gonna stop sharing it so that I can bring him back, okay? Hold on. Mr. Alberto, bear with me, okay? I think you're back. Do you have better internet now?
I think so. Can you guys hear me?
Oh, beautifully, beautifully. We're
Okay,
almost
I'm sorry,
we're
guys.
almost concluded. So I was about to just say goodbye, and we're almost done. No, no, I'm just kidding. Okay, but yes, they can hear you
Yeah,
now.
I'm here.
So let's
Oh, okay.
continue. I was telling them, I was sharing about, I don't know up to what point did you heard, Mr. Alberto, but I was mentioning that because you couldn't find great comps, you had to access the comps through a local real estate agent that provided you the sheet that I was showing them here in the screen. I'm gonna go back into the screen. So take it away.
Okay.
So tell us a little bit about, I already mentioned that it's 2 bedroom, 1 bath each. I mentioned that it's, you know, 3 units. I mentioned to them that obviously about the sheet and I was going to go through the comps. So talk to us about what, you know, what are the rents, the collector rents right now? What do you think is the value and things like that? And what do you think that you're going to basically looking to, you know, wholesale it at?
The rents are about 1,100 each unit as is right now. But if we can add value to this property, we can actually go all the way up to 1,200 a month.
How do you
Uh,
got that? How do you got the $1,200 a month?
I went on rental meter
Okay.
and I checked uh, the rents on rental meter, and that's what I got my. It's not accurate, but for 2 bedrooms and 1 bath, and the location is actually it's not the best, but the location um, is pretty close to Sparks downtown, which is growing. It's one of the cities that is growing pretty big. Uh, what else? What other question do you ask me, Mr. Luna?
So basically so you go to Rentometer. I notice Rentometer basically says average is 13, a little bit over 1,300. And then on the median side is 1,278. On the
Yes.
super extremely low side is 1,150. So you're going 1,200. You're doing it conservatively because
Right, right.
because that means the potential rent is 1,200 times 3. That means that's $3,600 per month. Based on the 1% rule, that means that this property can, an investor, once it's renovated and rented at $1,200 per unit, that means somebody can pay $360, I mean $360,000, and it's still a great deal at $360,000, backed up by the 1% rule, right?
That is correct, Mr. Luna.
Now,
Yep.
tell us a little bit about uh, about what do you think is worth, because you thought it was worth one price at one point, and then based on the comps that you got, what do you think is worth today
Well, now that I got different
based on
comps,
comparables? Because there's various, there's doing comparables by income, and then there's comparables by the comparables that we're going to go about, and then there's and then there's a value by building it new. So
right,
based on your belief, what do you think it's worth right now?
right. Right now it's worth about 350,
Okay.
and I've been very very conservative because today I went. I think I told you, Mr. Luna, I went to the city of Sparks,
Uh-huh.
and we can actually build another unit right there.
Also, it
It's
allows you to
available.
do more.
Yeah, it's available to build uh, more than 4 units right on that lot. It's considered as commercial. It's like a multi-use,
Like a mixed
multi-use.
use. It's a mixed use.
Yes, mixed use. I'm sorry. Yeah, mixed
Okay.
use. That's how I call it. Yep.
So you can build more than 4 units.
Oh yeah.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Bingo. I mean, and that could be used also as a positive thing. So, ladies and gentlemen, pay attention to the sheet. If you notice, a lot of people will go with, oh, let's do, let's just say average or median. And I don't like to do that, because then it kind of deceives you on the true value of things. But look, we went, we noticed, obviously, if we go back, we know that it's 6 bedrooms, total 6 bedrooms. The structure is total 6 bedrooms, total four baths. It's actually 3 bathrooms. This is wrong right there. And then it's 1766 square feet. So I'm going to try to get which one is the closest one. Well, this is one, but it's really tiny, really, really tiny, that sold only a few months ago, sold for what? Sold for 314. And then there's another one that is almost the same size, and this is just purely square footage, all right? It may be smaller on bathrooms, smaller on many things. And then this is what? Sold for 324. And then there's another one here, very close, sold for 450. So in between, plus or minus, I think 350, I think is super conservative. 375 is probably where, where I feel comfortable. Um, could it go for more? Yes. But that's obviously determined by whoever is going to buy it, right? So anyways, if you notice, I wanted to share this so that you understand that when you don't see great comparables in the open public, you're going to need to access it right away, and you got to be fast to your feet. Uh, the interesting story behind this deal is that Mr. Alberto actually lost, the seller's contact. And, if it wasn't because the seller actually called him back, he probably wouldn't be telling this story. Okay. So in other words, don't leave success to chances, or don't leave success to being lucky, because that it is not replicatable, so just understand that. All right. Anyways, um, can you share, Mr. Alberto, what is it that caught your attention initially when you first saw the property?
Um, that it was a triplex. That was the first thing. But actually, the caught my attention when I wanted to put this contract and get it signed right away. It was when I went physically to see it from the inside, and that it had 2 bedrooms on each unit, and that's when I went like, oh my God, this is a good deal. I mean, it could have a good potential. I could not see it from the outside because it was kind of ugly, something like that. But when I went inside, and that's when I saw the big potential.
Now, this is
And
the
mhm,
interesting thing, because you mentioned something right now, and I want people to understand. If we were to do comparable strictly by comps, this property is probably worth about 350, 350. It's purely comparable by comps. If we do it by income, and if we, because state of Nevada is non-rent control, which is cool, then I think it's got the potential for more. So it just depends. Understanding, everybody, write this down. When you understand who your buyer is, you can wrap your properties guided to that specific buyer. Example, if the buyer for this property is a landlord or a, uh, you know, an investor that wants cash flow, then this could be aimed to that type of investor who's willing to pay even more. Let me tell you why. What if, what if we can rent it for more than the 1,200 that Mr. Alberto suggested? Give you an example how powerful that is. We just closed maybe a couple months ago on a 40-unit building in Modesto, and we thought that our 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, they were going to be renting for 1450, $1,450, and it's unbelievable. Data told us that the highest that we can go is 1450. The competition is leasing their properties even at less than ours, and we're leasing ours at 1650. In other words, we're picking up an extra $200 per unit that we never thought that was going to happen, just because we decided to test, just because we decided to see, let's see if the market pays for it. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen, if we rent, I'll give you this much, Mr. Alberto. If you rent this for 1,300, an investor could, even pay $400,000 for this thing if this could be rented for 1,300 bucks. Question: how much do you think it's in repairs?
About $50,000
About 15?
to get it in good shape. Yep.
Okay. That would be in great shape. Absolutely.
In great shape. Yep.
Okay, so basically, if you notice, by income, this thing could actually be more, but obviously Alberto is playing it conservative in that respect. Okay, awesome. Now, what else can you tell them before we take questions and answers, Mr. Alberto? What else can you share of value to the audience?
I suggest everybody to put action, and once you find a good potential property, sometimes you just don't see it because you just don't see the whole picture, but put it in contract. That's my suggestion. Put it in contract right away. And that's exactly what I did with this property. I didn't know the whole picture, the whole, what I was gonna do with this property, but I wanted to put it in contract right away. I'm still working on it. Just because I put it in contract doesn't mean that it's gonna be a great deal. I've been working on this deal since I put it on contract. So my suggestion is to put action and then start working on it.
So you found this deal through direct mail, right?
Yes.
Now let me ask you questions about direct mail. Was this a big campaign? I mean, are you spending thousands of dollars every week, or tell us about the campaign? Who do you send it to? How big was the direct mail campaign? How many touches did you did?
Well, for this campaign that I've been doing for the past 4 months, because I did 4 touch, but I was sending like 250 direct mailers every week. 250, so 1,000 letters for a month.
So 1,000 letters a month, 250 letters per week.
Per week, yeah.
A week. How much did you spend? You said you did this for 4 months?
4 months.
And how
It
much
cost
do
me,
uh-huh,
uh, yeah, it cost me about 3,600.
in all those 4 months?
Yes.
Okay, so let's do the math. 3,600 divided by 4. So it was like $900 a month, right?
Yeah.
How much do you bought this property for, or how much do you have it under contract for?
220.
220.
220.
How much do you think, uh, if you wholesale it? Now that I know the numbers, now that I know the numbers, things will change a little bit, but very conservative and be conservative. What do you think you can wholesale it at? The
I
way,
was thinking,
but very
I was,
conservative.
yes, I was thinking to wholesale it for 300.
300. I don't think that's conservative. I think that's going to be way too high. Well, depends. It all depends. Once again, it all depends.
Well,
But
yeah, yeah.
it all depends. But let's just say you don't get the 300. But let's say you just get, I don't know, you get, let's just even say if you get, shoot, 250. Let's just,
250, sure.
for a moment, let's just think about it. 250 minus the 220, that's $30,000. Now,
Sure. I'll
30,
take it.
$30,000. Who in the audience, ladies and gentlemen, who would take $30,000 and walk away out of this deal? Let us know that. Just put it right there. If you would take 30,000, and the cost, it only costs 3,600 bucks. So who would just say, yeah, I'll freaking take it. I'll take the 30 and I'm out. I'll do another one. Now, for the people that are not doing direct mail and you think that you got to do like myself, 10,000 letters a week, you don't have to. He's doing 250 letters a week. He's investing 900 bucks a month.
A month.
And he landed in a deal that he could easily make. Easily, he's going to be able to make 30 grand. The question is, do you want to 10x your investment? And if the answer is yes, you got to obviously start doing it. You don't have to be a big shot. Don't think that, that's why I'm putting a student to teach you today, because I want you to hear from him, from someone that his English is limited. It's not like, and it's limited like mine. It's not like he knows how to write every single word, perfectly, like I don't either. So he will take all the excuses that you may have, that if he's doing deals, you could do them too. I mean, he's consistent. He did 4 touches, probably he felt that he wasn't going to get, you know, deals in those 4 touches, but you know what? You only need one great deal, right? Anyways, I think the people that responded says, hey, they'll take 30 and happy. They'll say they'll take it. Bob says take it. Stephanie says yes, absolutely. Dee says yeah, I would. So Wendy says 30 and I'm out happy, absolutely. And watch, we're gonna blast it. By the way, you're gonna blast it when? Maybe tomorrow, Mr. Alberto. You're gonna be blasting it in tomorrow, something like that.
This week. This
This
week,
week.
yeah.
There you
Yeah.
guys. So, anyways, any other questions, ladies and gentlemen? This is the time. I'm very excited that I was able to invite again Mr. Alberto, because I wanted it for you to hear it directly from him, for you to know that, listen, you don't have to be perfect to start doing deals. You got to start doing deals and hone your craft in the process, okay? John says, I'm curious what you found to be the best frequency for sending out a mailings. Alberto, did once a week, but do you find that to be best or different times between mailings? So, Mr. Alberto, the frequency that you did them, do you like to do them on a weekly basis, or what can you say about the frequency?
I, I wanted to break those 1,000 letters in 4. So that's why I broke those 1,000 letters, uh, sending 250 a week,
Okay.
and I think it worked pretty good like that because uh, each owner got 4 of my letters every month.
Okay.
So that's the way I set it up, and it worked.
who was the list? Who did you send it to?
The list, what kind of list, right?
Yeah, what kind of list?
Um, if I'm not, let me see, because I made two lists for the whole campaign. I made two of them. One it was for with low taxes,
Low
uh,
property tax.
low property tax, and with owners that own this house for over 30 years, something like that.
So low taxes in ownership, long term ownership. Okay, beautiful. Uh,
Yeah,
Now, fantastic. Keep in mind, I'm a believer on a weekly basis. I do believe on doing things weekly versus monthly, but and the reason being is because you want a lead flow, a consistent lead flow. So that's my suggestion, Mr. John. You don't have to do big, big mailing lists. Start somewhere. Obviously, what I remember telling Mr. Alberto, I said, don't do anything less than, I mean, be consistent. I did remember telling him, do at least 1,000. I mean, 1,000. It's gonna give you a little bit of um, exposure there. So that's what he did, and obviously this is what's happening right now. D is asking, did the base offer from 75 or 85 of ARV? D, the AR, it's right at 80, a little bit less than 80%. It's about 77% based on a 360,000 ARV. Now, once again, because the population growth that is happening in Sparks and in Reno is driving the rents so dramatic that if we value it by income, I think is worth more. Now, obviously, if people don't know that, if people don't know how strong the Washoe County is actually growing, um, they won't see the tremendous value. So obviously, because we know that this could actually end up being worth more. But it never, nevertheless, uh, if we sell it by income, I think Alberto could easily get obviously a quick wholesale fee. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna have to leave because I got a training that I actually conduct, and they're pinging me. They're already telling me that I gotta connect. But congratulations to every single one of you guys, Mr. Alberto. Thank you for connecting once again. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for
sure.
being
Thank you.
abundant and just sharing openly. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you go out there and put something to practice. All right. And just always remember, you're one freaking deal away from changing your entire financial landscape. Congratulations, you know, hugs and kisses to every single one of you guys. Get to see you soon in the next webinar, the next real estate talk show. Congratulations. Have a great
Crush it,
one.
guys. Crush it.